this is the psycho situationship turned stalker story. And oh, it's crazy, but all the other stories today are very like winter themed. I picked them out specifically because they either deal like they're happen in winter or like near Christmas or like Christmas Eve or whatever. So yeah, alright. Are you ready? Get ready, get ready, get ready. Sit back and relax. Okay. Alright, so the first one we're gonna read is, again, the psycho situationship turned stalker. This is update number 3. I don't think I read this. I'm pretty sure I haven't read this, so let's go ahead and read. Alright, Opie starts off by saying, "God damn me if I thought I'd be updating y'all soon. Oh boy, where do I even start with this one? I guess the best thing I should start with is that I brought this whole situation up with my therapist, and then in brackets wrote, I ended up with a psychiatrist and later a therapist in August of 2022 and February 2023 for completely unrelated reasons. The first thing he asked me was, how does it make me feel? I told him that the whole situation made me feel extremely uncomfortable and brought back memories from when I was acting all crazy about someone, albeit I never went as far as Jane did. We talked about a lot of parallels between what I've done in the past and what she's doing to me now, and we've realized that Jane and I might be similar, of course. My therapist didn't try to diagnose her or anything, but it's worth mentioning I'm diagnosed with borderline personality disorder after my parents' sudden divorce when I was 12. In a very messed up relationship I was dragged and forced into with my teacher when I was 13. It has been sorted out, and I'm trying not to bore you with backstory stuff, but I thought it's worth mentioning it, and plus I was told journaling is good, so I guess this is my version of it. For starters, and this isn't even the juicy part of the story, 2 days ago, after my younger brother, 17 male, and I finished our gym session, we went to the pub, as it was still in the middle of the day and we didn't think anything of it. We ordered our drinks and food and we started talking. At first, it was the basic older/younger brother banter. Then we started gossiping about half our families, and finally, our talk went to Jane. My brother revealed to me that she had been sending him follow requests on Instagram for the past week or so, but he had been ignoring her altogether. We continued talking about her until, you guessed it, she just appeared at the pub with one of her friends. She sat on a table rather close to ours, so my brother and I decided to switch to our mom's native language, the beautiful and poetic Spanish. He and I continued rambling about her. I didn't even bat an eye, but every time I looked to my right, I could see her staring at us through the reflection of the nearby window. At one point, a guy from my class approached me and we started talking, and my brother excused himself to the bathroom. The bathroom at this pub is one of the main areas with the sinks and 2 separate places for men and women to do their business. I didn't notice her, but she followed my brother into the bathroom. He went into the men's washroom, and when he came back, she was just standing near the sink, staring at him with her, quote, crazy eyes, as he said. He washed his hands as she tried to make small talk with him. My brother, Lord bless his heart, being a literal copy of her mom, a sassy Cuban woman, just eyed Jane head to toe and said to her, "You're not getting that American passport through me, darling," and left her standing there. Although this might be funny, I did scold him to not do that again, but he said he's not listening to me, so here's that. Now the juicy part. This noon I got a DM from a girl that I know from the pub. I opened her message and it was her asking me if I've seen Jane's IG story. I told her that I had no way of doing that as she was blocked everywhere. To which the girl apologized for being the one to show me this, and she sent me a screenshot of Jane's story. At first I didn't see anything weird in it. It was just a mirror pic of her in the bathroom. So I asked the girl to explain to me what I'm looking at. to shake and hyperventilate, and my stepdad noticed and helped me calm down with my stepbrother. They kept asking me what was wrong, and I kept repeating, "She's fucking crazy," over and over again. I remember through my tunnel vision my stepbrother picking up my phone and just saying, "What the actual fuck?" Then my dad looked at it. She had painted a huge canvas portrait of me. And some of you might say that I'm overreacting, that maybe I'm in the wrong, or maybe I'm the crazy one. But I know what I look like, and the guy in the portrait looks just like me. Black curly hair, high cheekbones, sharp jawline, same mustache and goatee combo. And the part that everyone convinced is it's me, as if it didn't look like a literal picture of me. The eyes. See guys, I have heterochromia. My grandpa had it, and his grandpa had it for some reason every 2 generations in my mom's side of the family. The second born always has heterochromic eyes. My right eye is blue, my left eye is green, and as you can make it up by yourself, that's exactly the eye color combo the guy had in the portrait. This is where I feel the most conflicted. What now? What do I do now? My doubts about her initial story, about her abusive ex, were very, very high. I'm thinking about contacting him and getting his side of the story. I need to know what's going on, because as clear as it seems, it is still so confusing to me, and it still makes me panic every time I think about it. That's fucking crazy that she has that. Am I surprised? Not really. Would I be like shaking, hyperventilating? No. But that is so weird, and I don't know, I feel like I'd be calling the cops at this point, like, or just getting a restraining order. I don't know, just like something in that nature at this point. Because what the fuck is going on? Okay, so this is update 4, titled the same thing, Psycho Situationship turned Stalker. This is the most recent update, 27 days ago, from Infernos3323 on Let's Not Meet subreddit. Alrighty, here we go. Hey y'all, it's been around a month since I last updated you guys, but I've been rather busy with school, rugby, and planning my trip back to the States as my older brother and his fiance's pregnancy. But that's not why we're here. I have some stuff I have to cover, and I hope I explain them well enough. For starters, Jane is done. Jane will never be a problem in my life again. I did end up talking with her ex-boyfriend, and for legal reasons, I'm not allowed to talk about what he had told me about Jane and her family, but it wasn't pretty. I wasn't planning on using the information I had received from her, as she stopped bothering me. But at the end, her staying away from me was only short-lived. After I came back from Joburg with everything I learned about her and her family, I didn't hear from her, so I decided to live my life as it was before her. A week or so later, my girlfriend and I got into a heated argument, non-Jane related, and we ended up not talking to one another for a little bit. I was beyond devastated. I think I cried myself to sleep listening to Frank Ocean more this previous month than I did since 2016. LOL. Jane had heard about the fight me and my girlfriend had. I think she or her friend had overheard my girlfriend and her friends talking about it or something. But once again, I got a text from her that said, "I'm sorry you and Aubrey broke up. You can always talk to me if you need someone to talk to." It pissed me off as me and Aubrey had not broken up, but I texted Jane back telling her I wanted to see her. She completely got the wrong idea and told me to come over. I printed out around 130 pages of all the stuff her ex told me about, as well as his pictures he had taken after she had physically assaulted him on multiple occasions. I went to her apartment, and the first thing she tried was to kiss me and hug me like I was her husband coming home from a long day at the office. I pushed her off of me and handed her the document I had printed. She only glanced at it and visibly got mad. She started yelling at me. She called me slurs, and I kept staring at her with the coldest gaze I could pull. She said how I'm just some rich and spoiled man who thinks he's on top of the world, a simple email. I think this is when she realized that she'd been cornered and she has no cards left to play. She just nodded at me. I left the documents at her table. As I walked into her bedroom and took the portrait she had of me, I dragged that thing through the door as I wished Jane Godspeed. I ended up burning the canvas at the fire pit later that night. Last thing I heard is that she's transferring schools. Aubrey and I made up, and I think I'm happier than ever with my woman. And had I not been 21, I'd have her married right now. But baby steps in that matter. I think this is the end of all this bullshit. And I'm able to breathe fine now, and I have a pint at the only place in town that I actually have fun at, the good old pub. Well, shit. Alright, well, that's the last update and the only update. I think this is the end of that story. Very, very interesting. I mean, I'm glad that, that's not happening anymore, and no one is getting stalked. I'm glad he took legal action, because I was literally about to say, that's the only other thing that I could think of doing in that situation, so. Alrighty, so the next story is titled One Winter Morning. This is from the Let's Not Meet subreddit, posted 10 years ago by Nurse K.A. Opie starts off by saying, so this occurred many years ago, but it will forever stay with me and change my views on allowing my kids to ever have their own separate phone line. Interesting. Okay. It was a few weeks after Christmas, and my parents had gotten me my own personal phone with my own personal separate phone line. Oh, I see what okay, I see. Like their phone number. Is that what they mean? Yeah. Because it was a cool thing back then, before cell phones were big. And I had given my friends the number because who wouldn't, right? Yeah, okay, I was right. I was like, I don't know, we just don't call it a phone line, or at least my family doesn't call it a phone line. But I understood. Anyway, it was about 3 a.m. and I'd been sleeping when my phone begins to ring. I thought, that's odd, I could be calling this early. We all have to be up for school in the morning. So I answered it, but all that could be heard was breathing on the other end. I laughed it off as someone was just messing with me and hung up. I tried returning to sleep, but my phone rang again. This time I answered it and said, who is this? Nothing, just breathing again. At this point, I was beginning to get irritated. I told him to stop calling me and hung up. Lay down again for about 30 minutes when my phone rang for yet the third time that morning. I was so mad, so I answered and said, this isn't funny, I'm trying to sleep, I have school in the morning, stop calling me. This time, there was a reply. It was a man's voice that sounded very gravelly. The yawns are coming. Every time I do these videos, I get sleepy. He laughed and said, quote, I can see you. You're very pretty. Why don't you come out and play in the snow with me? No. This is like do you want to play a game? No. With that, I hung up and started crying. I ran to my parents' room and woke up my mom, telling her what had happened, and she woke my dad up and made me tell him what had happened. So they both get up, and my dad goes to my room and checks the windows and everything. Make sure all the locks on the doors are locked. And proceeds to tell me it's just someone playing a sick joke and that everything will be fine. And tells me, I just cracked my ankle, help. And tells me to just unplug my phone from the outlet. So I finally go back to sleep until my mom wakes me up for school. I get up and start getting ready, open my blinds to my window that leads to the backyard, and noticed on this very frosty morning that there were handprints all over my window. I called my parents in there, totally freaked out. My dad immediately calls the police. No, absolutely not that. No. The police came out to take a report, to the back of my window, back to the back door, and back to the front door. The police think the guy had tried to get in the house. Oh, hell nah. Hell nah. No. Okay, wait, I thought it was like a cell phone, but now that they said just unplug the phone, I'm guessing it's a landline, which is what we would call it here, a landline phone, like a home phone, a landline. But they have like their own landline, so they have like probably, what if they have like a sibling or two? They would have like 3 landlines, like one for the house, like maybe in the family room, and then like the kids got their own like landline number. And somebody, oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so, disclaimer, the kiddos have gone out from high school. So if you hear yelling, hopefully you don't, because I'm gonna edit it out, okay? But if you hear just noise, more noise than usual in the background, that's fine, okay? Anyways, story number, 3, technically 4, is from the creepy clowners. Well, yes. No. The Creepy Encounters subreddit posted 5 years ago titled, "Some Dude Tried to Rob Me on Christmas Eve." Okay. OP starts off by saying, "This happened after work this past Christmas Eve. I work a late second shift from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. or until we're done. I should also mention that while the warehouse is a nicer area, a couple blocks down, it gets sketchy at night. We got done around 2 a.m. and me and one friend were the first out of the parking lot, we're the first out to the parking lot, and we're standing there talking while we were warming up our cars. We were talking for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and during that time, I saw this small sedan drive by slowly, but didn't think much of it because it was a little icy out, and I figured that they were just being cautious. But then I saw it slowly coming back down the road towards us and pulled in and parked in the parking lot across from us, which was strange because it's a welding shop parking lot and no one is ever there past 10 p.m. besides police doing speed traps. At that point, I pointed it out to my friend, and he said he noticed it as well and thought it was weird. Then this big dude got out of the car and walked across the street over to me and my friend, while the car he got out of drove off. Okay. He asked my friend for a smoke, and as he did, I walked over to my car and started scraping it off, so he would hopefully not talk to me. But as soon as I stepped back out of my car with my wallet in hand so I could use one of my cards to scrape the windows, he called over to me. I didn't want to be rude, even though something felt off about the situation, but I just said, fuck it. There's cameras watching me, and the rest of the workers should be out in 10 minutes or so I'll be fine. I'm 6 feet, 180 pounds, soaking wet. And the dude was a good bit bigger than me. I'm guessing he was 6'2" to 6'4", and a solid 250 plus. He was trying to make small talk with me, asking about what we do there, how it sucks we have to work on Christmas Eve, and just random bullshit like that. But I got the feeling he was sizing me up. So even though I have extreme social anxiety and can usually barely make eye contact even with people I know, I remembered my grandpa always telling me that if I'm in a sketchy situation with someone, to stand tall, chest out a bit, make direct eye contact the entire time. Essentially do whatever to make you look like you aren't scared or nervous, so you look like you're more trouble than you're worth. Okay, I'm good. My foot was falling asleep. Okay, anyways. I saw him keep looking down towards my wallet, so I took a step back so I could make sure I was in the view of the cameras. Then he said, "So, hey man, do you think you could give me a ride to my house? It's just down the road. I ran out of gas at the store. I need to go back to my house to get money." The grocery store. He said his car ran out of gas at is about a mile down the road to the east, but yet the dude came from the west. And also, if he needed a ride to his house in the west, why wouldn't he have just gotten one from the person who dropped him off, who came from that direction in the first place? Then I remembered reading online somewhere that around the holidays people will do whatever they can to try to get someone to give them a ride, and then they force them to take them back to their house and rob them. At this point, I'm like, fuck this. This dude is trying to rob me, so I just walk backwards towards my car since I had a big utility knife under the seat and tell him I'm good and to please get off our company property. And he was like, come on, man, it's Christmas Eve, while looking visibly pissed. And I said, that sucks, dude, get off the property. I get to my car and he can see me reaching under the seat, so he then turns and walks away and disappears in the alley a block away. I then go over to my friend's car to tell him what happened, and he said the dude was trying to get him to give him money for smokes, and then he tried to get him to give him a ride to the ATM. 2 days later, a picture of the same guy is on the local police department's Facebook page asking for information on him because he was wanted in relation to a string of armed robberies that happened during Christmas week. That's crazy. That's crazy. What the flip? Alright, next one is Winter Road Trip from Hell. This was posted 5 years ago on the Let's Not Meet subreddit by Imaginary Impression. Alright, this one's a little bit long, but honestly not that long. I've seen longer babes that's not that long. Alright. He starts off by saying, this incident happened to me over the Christmas holidays this past year, and it just occurred to me that the sheer insanity of it may make it a good fit for this sub. For reference, I am a 24-year-old female. My cousin and I decided to go for a few hours up a few hours north for a nice winter cabin weekend. Why do I have like hair in my mouth? What the fuck? Anyways, it went great, nothing creepy at all. On our final day, we packed up at around 6 a.m. and hopped in the car to get an early start on the about 5-hour drive we had ahead of us. It was a foggy morning, not actively snowing, but previous snowfalls had piled up quite a bit, making the drive a little risky in the dark, early hours of the morning. My cousin was driving, and we were chatting and listening to podcasts, not too aware of our surroundings. We were about 20 minutes into the drive when, unfortunately, the car skidded off the road a little. Damn you, black ice. And we very slightly grazed a tree. Oh shit. That's pretty bad. We got out to take a look, and by some miracle, there was no damage or anything to the car. As my cousin and I started to laugh with relief, we were just thanking our luck. I shield my eyes because of some idiot with their crazy high beams coming up behind us. So obnoxious, my cousin laughed, starting to open her door to step back in when the blinding headlights car honks and continues to keep at it as they approach us. My cousin and I looked at each other super confused but quickly hopped back in the car. The car begins to slow down and we're able to see a man in the driver's seat, and he finally takes his hand off the horn and pulls up right next to my cousin's car, which is really dumb because we were off-road and it was crazy slippery. He rolls down his window and motions for my cousin to roll down ours. We figured it's fine because he's still inside his car and we're in ours. I know, probably a stupid move. Quote, "Hey there, ladies. In a rush this morning," he laughs. Not really, just trying to get home. Can we help you with something?" My cousin replies, totally stone cold poker face. "Oh no, I just noticed you dropped something about 2 kilometers back. It thanks, sir. I think you might have us mixed up with someone," my cousin said, and immediately rolled up her window. This man gave off bad vibes. He starts blaring his horn again and motioning us to roll down the window. My cousin rolls it down again and sees him holding up some woman's underwear and smiling. Quote, "See, this looks familiar. Does this look familiar?" I can literally remember the exact tone with which he said that. "No thanks, sir. You have a great day now." My cousin quickly rolled up her window again and floored it, quickly hopping back on the road, and thankfully the man was either taken aback or just gave up, and we didn't see him for the next hour or so. My cousin and I were both shaken. We're both a little shaken up, but tried to laugh it off since we were safe and hadn't seen his car follow us or anything. About two hours into our trip, we got off at an exit to fill up gas and grab some breakfast at a Starbucks. My cousin and I mobile ordered, and I was gonna quickly run to grab our food and drinks. It had started snowing at this point, and while the sun had been up for a little bit, it was foggy and gloomy, making it hard to see the surroundings. I ran in, and as I reached for our food, someone's arm reached over mine to grab a napkin, and I instantly flinched back. When I looked up, I truly almost shat myself. It was the fucking man. Because what the fuck? Despite him never getting out of the car, he did have his lights on, and I was able to get a clear view of his face. It was him, I was sure. "Look at us, just like old friends," he smiled at me. I immediately looked down and grabbed my food and started walking out of the store. As I left, I heard him talking to the barista saying, "See that beauty queen? That's my beauty queen." WTF. No, because what the fuck? I almost had tears in my eyes because I was so terrified. I power walked back to the car, almost tripping outside because I was so scared and not walking like a normal person. I hopped in and screamed, "We need to get the fuck back on the road. He's inside the fucking Starbucks." My cousin started laughing, thinking I was pranking her, but she quickly realized that was not the case when the man walked out of the Starbucks a few minutes later with no drink or food in hand, walking straight towards our car, waving at us. No, thank you. Ma'am, this is the Wendy's. No. My cousin quickly started to turn the car on when the man reached into his pocket. I genuinely thought he was going to pull out a weapon. Sorry, holding up the underwear he had before. Thankfully, my cousin took no time in backing out of there and speeding back onto the highway. We both were freaking out at this point, not sure how he ended up at the same stop. As us, despite not seeing him behind us at all. He could have taken some sort of back roads we didn't know about, but it would have taken him much longer than us to get there, unless he was trailing behind. I don't know. We could quickly try to find an alternate route on our maps app, and thankfully there was one that made us go through some local roads, which we hoped might help. Of course, with our luck, we were going through a smaller town. I felt the car getting gradually lower on my side. We pulled over at a well-lit gas station and realized we were losing air in one of our tires. We were both too scared to get out, but figured if we went out together it might be less scary, so we did. We filled up the tire with some air and it seemed to be okay. We got back in the car, back on our way, and everything seemed fine until 10 minutes later, when this car seemed to appear out of nowhere directly behind us. My cousin and I looked at each other, having no idea what to do if it were the man. gave zero fucks and called my brother-in-law, who's a cop. I know I should have called the police directly. It was a stupid move, but in the moment I was trying to justify this as being not that serious. My brother-in-law told us to drive directly to the nearest police station and to call them right away so they would be alert. Literally, as he was instructing me, the creep braked his car, just stopped on the side of the snowy, icy road. We were still speeding away, so it quickly got harder and harder to see him. But from what I could make out, he had gotten out of his car and was sitting on the hood. Just fucking sitting on the hood of his car in freezing snowy weather. What the fuck? My cousin and I did not want to stop or do anything. With about an hour left to our journey, we decided to just book it straight home, and thankfully that was the end of that. I know we made a lot of stupid mistakes that could have potentially had horrible consequences, but I'm super happy we made it out alive and unharmed. I still don't know how he got up to us seemingly magically, and why he just sat there in the end, but I don't even want to find out at this point. That is so weird. Alright, so this is going to be the last and final story of this video, because my back and my butt are hurting from sitting on the floor in front of the stream. So, the last story is on the Creepy Encounters subreddit, posted not 2, but 3 years ago, titled Creepy Men in the Middle of a Mountain Road in the Winter, posted by Leo Queen 79. So, Opie starts off by saying this happened almost 25 years ago, way before cell phones were a thing. When I was 17, my brother, 13 at the time, and I were traveling in northern British Columbia in mid-November. This is important as the darkness at this time of the year in the mountains is absolute. We were in the Pine Pass between Chetwynd and Prince George, BC. Hopefully I said that properly. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Anyways, anyone who knows this area knows how desolate it is. I'm talking hundreds of kilometers between gas stations and any kind of people/buildings. We were just about at the Powder King Ski Resort turn off, and it was getting late. We pulled into a roadside turnout about 10 to 10:30 p.m. I was super tired, which definitely, sorry, side note, at that point it would have been like, oh, midnight dark, like it looks like it's midnight, but it's not, type of dark, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, my brother was already sleeping. I pull into the park near some tourist signage, lock my doors, and put my seat back to sleep. I'm dead asleep when something snapped me awake. To this day, I'm not sure what it was that woke me up. I was looking around trying to figure out what was happening when all of a sudden my car was surrounded by 4 to 5 men. They started yanking on the door handles trying to get in the car. I'm not sure if they saw I was awake or not, but I sat up and slammed the car in drive and bailed out of there. I'm not sure if I hit one of them or not, and I didn't care to check. I didn't stop again until my auntie's house in Prince George. Was one of the most terrifying times in my life. So to the 4/5 men in the Pine Pass who tried to get into a car with 2 kids, I hope I ran at least one of your feet over. That's crazy. Oh, someone in the comments said, well, I have a similar story to this one. One time, I was in Canada on a snowboarding trip. Panorama. And, with some of my friends, we decided to go out for a drive and smoke some weed along a bunch of trees. It was probably the middle of the night, but the moon was really bright, so we could see fairly well. There's no one on the road just the person. Everyone in the pickup starts to panic and yells what to do. Ultimately, we quickly agree to drive past it and then turn down another road that will take us back in the direction of our cabin. The driver of the pickup called the police on our way back and gave the location of a possible injured person. After we get back to the cabin, the police call back asking for more information on where we saw the body because they went to where we told them and couldn't find anything. We found out the next day that nothing came of their search. There was no person anywhere down that road that they could see. Creepy. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, this is a bait, this was a trap. Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. That is so weird, so creepy, so crazy. Like, no. Imagine you're sleeping in your car, which honestly is already scary enough because of all the windows, in my opinion. Like, if you don't have like really tinted windows, I feel like sleeping in your car is like one of the scariest things you can do. But anyways, and then waking up to a noise and it's like